Okay, yeah, so welcome to the weekly Inside Real Estate Success Strategies webinar series. If you've never been on one of these tend to be a little bit more advanced or outside of the box or a little bit off to the side from the normal course of education here about kvCORE. If you're just getting started with kvCORE, you're definitely welcome here. Take it in. Some of the stuff we talk about you might not be ready for yet, but you can at least absorb it and put it in the back of your head. If you are new, definitely make sure you go through the Agent Success Plan that we have up at the top right of the kvCORE dashboard when you get time. That's definitely going to be your best place to start. It's a very good course and a series of live weekly trainings that you can go to really get immersed. Now, what we're going to do today is we have a guest. We have Tyler from API Nation. He's going to do us a quick walkthrough of what API Nation is. I'll give a quick kind of summary. It's basically a connector tool, kind of a gateway to third-party integrations, and where the API Nation tools can be found is in our marketplace in kvCORE. If you just go up here and I think type API, see if I get lucky and have it work. API Nation, maybe not.
I think you'll find our syncs underneath the names of some of the products we sync with. Oh, you can see right there, API Nation.
Yeah, so some of the various syncs you have, like the Constant Contact, the API Nation, the Facebook one, which we're going to talk about toward the end of this session, Tyler. I'm going to do a little bonus where I walk through the creation of a lead ad with API Nation. And
fantastic.
But yeah, for the most part, I'm just going to turn it over to you. Are you able to take over the screen, or do I have to stop my share and let you have it?
Yeah, I think I'll take over if you can pass it on along. Yep. Thank you very much.
So the screen probably went blank, everybody, and here we go. Tyler's got his screen. I'll let him go, and then we'll do that demo of the Facebook ad toward the end.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you very much, Ryan.
Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah, and just to jump, right into it, talking about kvCORE and all the powerful integrations that you can run using kvCORE and API Nation, we find agents really doing some incredible things with our Google Sheets sync. And so that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. Super excited about it. And again, really appreciate your time, Ryan. Thank you for the invitation. So really, you guys are using kvCORE today. You've watched Ryan's videos. Things are really humming along, and kvCORE is your successful business in a box. And now, even though you've got all this stuff humming along, working exactly like you need it to, there are also some things you kind of want to experiment with, a couple of things that you're looking to try. Maybe you want to start working with an assistant, an ISA, or you want to share your leads in kvCORE with a marketing specialist and maybe run some targeted ads that can get you a quick boost. But of course, you're going to want to maintain complete control of your leads while you go through this process, making sure that you know exactly who's got access, exactly where they can find access, and make sure that you can control that as you introduce these new people into the process. And so agents have been telling us that the easiest way for them to do these things is with our Google Sheets sync. You can have our syncs creating and updating specific lists to easily share with your assistant, your marketing specialist, your ISA, or even just using these exports to drop a custom audience into your Facebook ad campaign. And this is all handled automatically without ever having to hand over access or control of your kvCORE account. So before I continue with getting into the details about how this all works, I'd love to just take a step back and introduce ourselves for anyone who's not familiar with API Nation. And really what we do at API Nation, like Ryan said a little bit earlier, is we connect the world's applications. And that's specific to us, to the real estate space. And so we bring all of our expertise and knowledge of real estate into this concept of bringing together connected apps. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to make these connected apps way more useful and way more specific to the context of what you're doing in your day-to-day trying to close deals. And we think that that's just incredible. We've got a motto, don't be a robot, build a robot, and make sure that routine work, it can be automated so that you guys can get back to what you do best. And so just kick this out. So we've created some of the most popular syncs with kvCORE, including our Constant Contact integration, our Facebook integration, MailChimp, BombBomb, and of course our Google Sheets sync. And I'm sure a lot of you already kind of catching on to what all the possibilities are when you're using this Google Sheets integration. And there are a couple of different things that it lets you do. Like we touched on before, it gives you real complete control over all of your contacts in kvCORE. It lets you share specific lists that you're looking to share. It lets you, export lists to something like a Facebook custom audience, and make sure that all those lists stay up to date with the latest information in kvCORE. If you've got a list out there that's changing every day, that Google Sheet's going to be changing every single day with it, with no action required on your part. And it's really nice to have that in Google Sheets, not just to have those channels to use for your marketing department or for your marketing partners, but also for having things like a backup of your contacts, and using that data to create reports and business insights, things like charts and graphs, and really just experimenting. I mean, that's the reason why we like to call this kvCORE and Google Sheets integration the perfect lab, right? It gives you a space where you can collaborate and you can experiment on all of this information in a space that's really familiar for everybody. Using a spreadsheet environment, using Google Sheets is something that allows people to get innovative because they know what they're doing. This is a familiar environment, and they can try out some really cool ideas with really low startup cost.
Yeah.
Not only, oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I was going to jump in and just say, you said something there that I didn't know. You said that the data, this is about the data. This is about controlling your data, having a backup for it, which is always a good idea. But you said that the sheet is always updated in real time. I guess you're going to talk a little bit more about that. I always assumed it just added new stuff and dumped it in, but it's a true sync.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that, it's a good point I'll touch on now, is that, our sync continues to run every single day as things, get into your kvCORE account, as things change throughout kvCORE. Our sync is constantly pulling that information through to the Google Sheet. So this isn't like a one-time export. This isn't something you click a button in order to download the Google Sheet. The second you set up this Google Sheet, from that point moving forward, that Google Sheet is going to stay in sync with your kvCORE moving on. And that means that you can continue to leverage that sheet kind of as a living document.
Great.
And it's just one of those things that, we know that agents need. We know that it's super important to agents in this environment. And so we're really happy to bring it to you. And one of the things that we would love to know from you guys, and Ryan, I'm not sure if you actually have the poll ready or not, but I would love for you guys to just think about it. How long have you been building your contact list? How far back do those networks go for you in kvCORE? And what could using a spreadsheet do for those lists that hasn't been done yet, kind of unlock potential for you in those contact lists that you guys have?
So I'll go ahead and push a poll out. I've never done that on Zoom here, but let's try it. Okay. So look in your chat. Hopefully it'll pop up in a minute. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. And while you guys are kind of thinking about that and submitting your answers there, I would love to just circle back to a couple of the key points that, Ryan and I really think make this thing shine. And number one, I have to say, is that complete control over that contact list. If you guys were planning to work with an ISA or a marketing professional or anybody who you'd be looking to share these contacts with, and for as long as you've had this list, it really is a valuable asset for you and your business. There's no better way to control these lists and these data stores than being able to put them in a Google Sheet, where you'll be able to control the level of access that people have or that teams have, where you'll be able to control the level of data that goes into the sheet. So whether you want that to be all of your contacts or some subset of your contacts based on a filter in kvCORE, all possibilities here using the kvCORE and Google Sheets sync that we've got available. And it really allows you to say, hey, this is a really valuable asset for me and my business, but, I'm going to give you access for now. And as long as things are working out, we'll keep it that way. It's really just fantastic as a tool for controlling that.
Yeah, Tyler.
And
So Dan asked, maybe we should go in a little bit more. You touched on some of it. Why would you want to do this? And I think you're going to go into some specific examples. But I'll just say, one of them's the backup. One of them is if you're sharing leads with a lender or an ISA. But there's also, as I think Tyler's going to get into, there's some really geeky reporting stuff you can do with Google Sheets that some people might find useful.
absolutely, yeah. I think that's what we've got up next. So this just touches these slides touch on what I was talking about before. Is if you are using that ISA and you did want to share with them one day, you could go ahead and share these Google Sheets with that person. But it's just as easy to turn around and say, hey, this period is over. We're no longer going to be sharing this information from you. Go ahead and remove that share from the Google Sheet. And that's really what we're talking about when it comes down to controlling the access to the data, without letting someone into your kvCORE environment and only temporarily giving them access to the data. But yeah, you hit on something really interesting, Ryan, which we think has a ton of potential, and which we encourage everyone to experiment with, is that there's just so much you can do with a spreadsheet, right? So if you wanted to take a peek into your data and see quickly, hey, how are these different metrics doing? What happens if I just look at this specific type of contact? What can I do with pivot tables when I bring in more data? If I've got another set of data somewhere about these people and I want to put this all together and kind of reference against one another, what can I do? And of course, you guys have all of those filters and sorting tools that are available through Google Sheets. And ultimately what this comes down to is just really strong business insights for you guys. So if you've got all of this data in a Google Sheet and you want to put together, a really basic chart or a graph, this makes it all possible to talk about how are my lead sources doing? Where are my zip codes coming in that are really strong? Geographically, how are we doing? Let's look at the big picture. How are all of our contacts doing? We've got 500 contacts in this list, and what's the performance on this list like? Things like that really shine through being able to use Google Sheets. And you can do it all in an environment where it's safe to experiment. It's really kind of a welcome and familiar environment in using a spreadsheet for many people going through this. And so we find that people are really able to find some fascinating business insights. And this is all just from the data you're getting in kvCORE, right? I mean, this is just turning on the sync today, going in tomorrow and looking at all the information and coming up with a couple of charts and graphs yourself. It can go even deeper than that. So if you've got a couple of different data sources that you're looking at, and just real quick before I move on, I would love to know as well, Ryan, if you could throw up another poll, how many people here are visual learners or think that your colleagues, your agents, people in your brokerage might also be visual learners?
Yeah, I'll throw that up. I did have a question about it's bidirectional. What happens if the database gets zapped or something at the kvCORE side? Will it delete the sheet?
No, it will not delete the sheet. No, this works as a backup for you guys. So
Okay.
all of that information will be saved in your Google Sheet.
Great. And I'll get that poll going about the visual learners here. Thank you for answering, everybody. I've never done a poll live, but 88 of you guys answered the first one. That's really cool. So I'm going to end that one. Okay.
Fantastic. And the reason why we asked this question is because, like we were just talking about with those charts and graphs, I mean, being able to visualize a couple of things about the business can really help, agents with their performance. It can really help an entire office to look at their process and to try to think about how things can be improved on. And it'll really provide, like Ryan was saying, just those powerful business insights that help you make strategic decisions around what you should be doing, what you should be doing more of, what you should be doing less of. And so being able to take this data and just break it out visually makes that conversation incredibly easy to have. And I'd love to see how many of you guys agree. And really you start to see a lot of deep and powerful insights when you can really blend data sources coming in. So not only do you have the kvCORE to Google Sheets integration, but let's say maybe you popped through API Nation and you picked up our .loop and our Facebook to Google Sheets integrations as well. the things you can do with those data sets together, by doing what we say is blending that data and matching up those contacts and seeing how they perform from the top to the bottom of your funnel. I mean, it is just insane what you can tell about how your process is doing, where you're succeeding, where things could use some improvement. And what you guys see here on the screen over to the right is a really simple tool that's provided by Google. It's called Data Studio. And you can really just take all three of these Google Sheets that you get from API Nation, plug them into that Data Studio sheet reporting dashboard right there. And that will allow you to see things about your traffic and about your sales funnel, about your agent, your office, and your clients that can really, really power some better business.
Great. So, this is a little abstract. We got some questions here. So it is a two-way sync, but if you lose your leads in kvCORE, it doesn't delete them. How does that work?
So the way the integration works right now, and just to be clear, the directions of the integration are optional. Okay. So if you would like to have just a sync from kvCORE to Google Sheets, or just a sync from Google Sheets to kvCORE, both of those things are at your fingertips. But if you do have both of the syncs syncing back and forth, really what it comes down to is that our integration tends toward not deleting. And that's just a policy that we've come upon knowing the industry, right? And I mentioned this before, one of the big things that API Nation brings to the table is our expertise in context in real estate. And we know that losing your contacts is just not a good experience. That's not something that anybody ever wants. And so we've designed our sync to, and just some clarity here. We have Gabe jumping in from our team. Thank you, Gabe. So the kvCORE sync that we have right now is currently only one way. Okay. And so that was my confusion. But so the sync goes from kvCORE to Google Sheets. But what we do as a policy is we won't delete information from Google Sheets if we can help it, right? If there's, if you go into a contact and you change the email address for that contact, sure, that information will be updated. But if you go ahead and delete that contact, we avoid deleting that contact from the Google Sheet until we know for certain that that's not a mistake. And gotcha. So yeah. So we really safeguard around those kinds of scenarios.
Cool. So were you going to show how to set this up as part of your presentation, or is by jumping ahead in the slides here?
Yeah, I think that could be next up. Let me just double check here if there's anything else I wanted to cover. Nope, this is it. Yeah. So what I'd love to do for you guys is go ahead and show you a quick demo of what we've got here. And this is apination.com. If you're ever interested in kvCORE integrations, you can visit this URL. That's my.apination.com/kvCORE. And you'll wind up right.
You can also get it at the marketplace link in the dashboard too.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that the marketplace does a really excellent job of walking you through exactly what these things do, and it's a fantastic resource. And so if we go ahead and click on this Google Sheets tile right here, we'll see our kvCORE and Google Sheets integration page. And this will have a lot of the same information you'll find in the marketplace, really just helpful, powerful information if you guys want to check that out in the kvCORE marketplace. But on our side here, what we've got is just a 1, 2, 3 setup process. So we know that we want to make this as easy as possible on you guys. And we don't want to ask you about complicated settings or configuration. We don't want you to have a degree in computer science in order to set these things up, right? We just want to make it as easy as possible to connect your kvCORE and your Google Sheets and to have that sync work like you want it to just from day one. So all you've got to do here is enter in your kvCORE username and password. So I'll type in the one that we have here. And go ahead and click connect, and that will connect your kvCORE and Google Sheets. That will connect your kvCORE account. The next step would be to connect your Google Sheets account. So I'll click down here to connect a new Google Sheets account. And I'll select my Tyler at apination.com account right there. And just like that, you can see everything is set up and ready to go. I could go ahead and click that start free trial button, but maybe I have a couple of options that I want to select. Particularly, I can see right here that, hey, I'd like to maybe select a new type. Let's say I'd also like to see my buyer and my seller leads here. And finally, hey, I want to see all of our contacts come through. So I'm going to check this box that says, hey, let me grab all of my historical contacts, right? I don't just want this to start syncing from today forward, but I also want to get all of those contacts that were already there in the past. So go ahead and check that box and then click start free trial. And really it's as simple as that. So from this point on, we'll see a Google Sheet gets created in my account, and the contacts every 15 minutes will continue populating as the sync continues to run.
Cool. What can we see an example? What fields are being brought in? Had a couple questions. Can they see the hashtags, things like that?
Sure. Yeah. And so one of the best ways to do that is to check out. Here, let me just go ahead and I'll pull up the Google Sheet. I do have to stop sharing for 1 second to go to that.
Yep. And we have a bunch of good questions here, everybody. We'll get to these toward the end if I'm not answering them now. They're kind of flying in, so we'll get them all answered. But yeah, basically Google Sheets is, while Tyler does that, it's one of the integrations between kvCORE. I think there's about 5 right now. And this one is really interesting because of the number of things you can do with it. The Google Data Studio, somebody asked if that's free. I'm pretty sure it is. I just went and created an account myself, so you can build nice looking reports in there. Is that right, Tyler? It's free?
That's right. Yeah, that service is entirely free.
Yep. So, and it seems like, again, this is more advanced, but you can start piping in data not only from kvCORE, but from some of the other tools you're using into the Google Sheet as well. It's kind of the thinking.
Yeah, that's right. And so here we've got, and we'll go ahead and pull this up.
Yep.
And so here we've got the Google Sheet coming through with some of the information in our kvCORE account. And we've got things like the basic contact information, that first name, last name, email, phone, and the city, state, and zip for exactly where this person's coming from.
Great. And are those all the fields? Any plans to add hashtags? I'm anticipating the next question that's going to come because we play a lot with hashtags.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's one of the major things that we love to stress with our users is adding fields to the spreadsheet. It can be a pretty easy process for us, right? So we're always happy to engage with customers, talk about the new data they're looking to see come in, and go ahead and make those updates for you guys.
Cool. Great. So it comes in here. You're going to show us some of your reporting, judo, wizardry, ninja stuff.
So unfortunately, I don't have any of that prepared for you guys today. I know that it's our marketing team that does a lot of that work on our side here. And Gabe's got some really incredible stuff to show from that side that we'll make sure we follow up with in an email.
Okay.
But yeah, for now, I'm sorry, I just don't have that prepared.
Yeah, I know. For example, I know you can quickly go into, I forget where it is, like insert chart. There's a lot of tools that are pretty intuitive to use. I've played around with them. Yeah, like there, and you can start to do some fun stuff. And Google kind of walks you through it. And then you have the data studio you can plug into too. So it is a single sync, but if you, for example, need a list to give to an ISA, this seems very clean and easy. You just give them the link to your Google Sheet. They don't have access to your kvCORE. They can't steal your stuff, and they just update the sheet here, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So was there any more on the Google Sheets integration, or should I go into a little bit about the Facebook lead ads and some of the others?
I think that's about it for me. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ryan. Here, I'll go ahead and pass the screen to you.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. So that's just one use, one option. For those of you who uh, want to do a little more sophisticated email marketing, that comes up a lot. kvCORE can do a lot, but we have MailChimp and Constant Contact also integrated via API Nation. You can find those in the dashboard here. And then for the second half of the webinar, what I was going to do is walk through, probably, Tyler, I assume the Facebook lead ads is the most popular right now integration that you guys have.
Yes. Yeah. With kvCORE. Absolutely.
Yeah. And what's nice about this is that API Nation's been nice enough. You guys provide this for free. And as an alternative to your big competitor out there, Zapier, right? They'll charge 25 bucks a month, I think, to be able to unlock the Facebook lead ads feature. And the reason why I think this is a big deal is because, in my personal opinion, lead ads are probably the fastest way to get good local contact data from local buyers and sellers, homeowners, renters and homeowners who might buy or sell with you someday into your database because of how those forms work. They pre-fill, they give you name, email, sell, and you are kind of rolling and can set up the automation through kvCORE. And that's what we've done the last few weeks on these webinars, is we've kind of set up some of the infrastructure there. So I thought it'd be nice if we dig in and use the tool today. So my screen is shared, I hope. Yeah, it looks like it is. What I was going to, yep. And what I was going to do was go ahead now and first set up the lead ad integration. Now, Tyler, would you say I should go run my ad first or do the lead ad inside, set up the integration inside the kvCORE?
So the integration pulls from the existing list of ads. So I always recommend that people go set up that ad first.
Okay. So that's what I'll do. You guys are gonna get a little bonus. I'm gonna show adding the actual process of adding the ad right here. I've been posting in the Facebook group, insiderealestate.com/Facebook group this week, about this kind of buy and hold land focused campaign I've been running right here.
Oh, hey, Ryan, sorry to jump in. I think we do need you to fix the screen share here.
Oh, okay. Give me a second, guys. Is it my other screen?
No, it looks like.
Yeah, it did something really weird. 1 second, guys. It's doing like a 1-2 deal that I've never seen. Technical difficulties. All right. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. What's it doing now?
There we go. I see Facebook's ad manager.
That was weird. Okay. So I popped in the Facebook's ads manager, and I've been working on this kind of ad this week for a land offer. Here's a complete current list of St. Pete, Florida lots for sale, priced from $22K to $5 million. And this is sort of the template that I always talk about, where you just offer a niche focused list. So for context, before we jump in, I just want to show you guys the post live in Facebook for those of you who aren't familiar with this, and kind of what we're talking about when we talk about a lead form. If I click on the learn more, you see what it does there. It pops up a form inside of Facebook, and it pre-fills an email address and a cell number. And in my experience, and very few people, some will, but very few people, especially on mobile, will take the time to change any of these variables. So you're getting the information that Facebook has on file. So our Property Boost service that you can find in Marketplace, our Facebook Leads service that you can find in Marketplace, those two operate using this flow. And this kind of demo that I'm about to do for you will show you how to do this on your own using API Nation. Now, this ad that I'm showing on the screen, I had to go into Zapier. I've done it 1,000 times, so I was able to do it, say, in about 10 minutes, which is, to me, is still a long time. But I know that a lot of people struggle through. The first time you try to do this in Zapier, you're gonna pull your hair out. There's a lot of different things to configure, and you're paying 25 bucks a month to boot. So just to stress, I think that this is a really good reason why API Nation being in the marketplace for free for Facebook lead ads is a good thing. All right, so let's go ahead now, and I think you guys just comment and say, this isn't boring. I'm gonna show the creation of this ad again as a little bit of an extra, and then we'll get into the API Nation part where we bridge it to kvCORE once the creative is created. Okay, and an ISA is an inside sales associate. We had a question from Doug. But basically somebody who calls your leads for you. Okay, so I'm in my Facebook ads dashboard. I'm gonna click create. I'm going to choose the Facebook page. Now, the first time you do a lead ad, you're going to have to view the terms. The first time you do it on the page, it's going to require you to accept the terms of the lead ads. And I've gotten hung up a few times before where I try to go run the ad and I'm like, why won't it let me? It's because you haven't accepted the terms yet. So that's just something to remember there. The other thing that they're not showing me, it's because I'm in an existing campaign. Let me back out, guys. This is important. I'm going to create a new campaign. I want to show you where to check off that special ad category right here. So starting from the top, new campaign. See this special ad category? This is what needs to be checked for real estate. So make sure you do that or your ads will be turned down. Right there. Then we're going to choose the lead generation objective. That's the objective, the type of ad that we're talking about. There. And then I'll name it. Just name this demo niched ad for API Nation. This will be any name you want. And if I'm missing your chats, it's because I'm doing a demo. I'm having a hard time finding it on my screen. So I'll get to you guys. Set your daily budget. Usually I'd set it to 5 or 10 at least. So we'll set it to 10. Okay. Now, because we're doing a special category real estate ad, all we can do is target the city that we're in. So we might be able to target a category, but we can't go down to zip code. It's pretty limited. I always do this. St. Petersburg, Russia. Pick your city, and it'll do 15 miles around automatically. Now, on our internal ad products, Property Boost and the Facebook ad service, when you do it, what we found is that this still works really well. You can still get a good cost per lead. And I think mostly that's because Facebook's AI does a really good job of targeting. And also in your ad creative, you're calling out people who might be interested in that sort of thing. So in general, I haven't noticed much difference in lead quality since Facebook did this to us probably almost a year ago now. And they took away these options 6 months to a year ago. So my targeting is all set. We'll leave all of these as they are. Don't mess around with this stuff. It's dangerous. It's not dangerous, but sometimes if you try to set the cost per lead low, you won't get any traffic at all. And I find it's good to just leave it. We'll then pick an image or video to use. Now I'm going to clear the existing images. Facebook's been adding them automatically. And I'll share with you guys, I posted in the group earlier today, I've been using this create video option. I've found that it works pretty well and it's pretty easy to use, where Facebook kind of makes this video slideshow. And I did a test this week where I did my own video versus theirs. And for whatever reason, the cost per lead was about a half when I used their internal tool. So I suspect that maybe that Facebook AI is favoring this because it's their tool. Not sure. So here, I'll just grab an image. You could have uploaded this from your hard drive, but just to speed things up, I'll grab one here that's already in my library. I like to pick this one on the right here. I usually get rid of the logo. Then I'll click Customize. Right here. Let me see if I can find the chat. I'm having a little problem finding it. Here we go. Question, can you go further in the radius 60 plus miles? Yes, I believe you can. You can go further. You just can't go more narrow. There will be a recording of this. Yes, it'll be at insiderealestate.com/strategy. And then Cliff is saying, Tyler, that he's very interested in the API integration. Is there an email address support at API Nation where Cliff can kind of schedule some time with you guys maybe?
Absolutely, yeah. Our support at apination.com email is always open. Also, you can contact us at hello@apination.com just for general help, tips. We're always happy to get you guys set up.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to keep going with this ad, St. Pete lots for sale. And then I'll do something like see the list now. Background. I just think I like sharing this kind of trick because it saved me personally a lot of stress trying to come up with creatives for my Facebook ads. It's like, it's point and click simple. I'm done, and it's going to make a nice, engaging little video ad that gets a nice click through and an affordable cost per lead. It takes between 30 seconds and 2 minutes to build. I've seen it get hung up here, so just be patient with it. And usually what I'll do while it's building my video, I'll just go ahead and start to build the rest of the ad. So next thing we'll do, primary text will be complete, see a list of St. Pete lots for sale. I like to use this template, priced from, and then I'll put a range like 25,000 to 5 million. This is my personal formula. There's 1,000 different ways to do this. I just know this kind of works. St. Pete lots for sale. For my headline, the headline will show up underneath the image. I usually choose learn more right here. And again, you see how it kind of gets hung up at the end. That seems to always happen right there. And by the way, if my voice is fading out at all, it's because Facebook is a resource hog, this ads manager, and it could sometimes just slow Zoom down. So apologies in advance for that. Now, Cynthia is asking, can this be linked to the MLS to see the list? And that's exactly where we're going with this. And my favorite type of ad to run is that we are going to use the kvCORE list of properties on your IDX kvCORE website as the sort of bait. And the next part we're going to do is we're going to link those two up. So the way that's done is by creating our lead form. So I'm going to click new form as I build the instant form right down here. Let me just show you the video I created. It's really simple, but for whatever reason, people click on it. It engages them. I don't know if Facebook's tested the heck out of it or what, if they're just giving it more better traffic, but they work. So call to action is learn more. I'll do a new form right here. St. Pete lots demo. I usually remove the intro. That's just a personal preference. And then I use the first question line and I say St. Pete lots, see the list now. Just keep in mind that this is sort of copywriting practice, is you want to keep the scent trail, I think they call it, between the ad and where people land. But somewhere in the middle here in Facebook, people click and they get this form to pop up. Be careful about changing the language here that you put here from what you had in your main ad. We want it to be very consistent, so the thing they just clicked on is just reinforced again. So St. Pete lots, see the list now. They're like, okay, I'll keep going. Tyler, you still there?
I am, yes.
Do you know, I can't remember, are we, with API Nation, is it best practice to use the full name or to separate the first and last name?
You know, I'd have to check in on that as well. I know with many platforms we support both, so. You
probably do. I remember there being an issue in the past. So I usually, guys, just to be safe when I'm doing this, I usually split these out. I'll do, I'll get rid of the full name, and then I'll do user information first name, add a new question, user information last name, and then I'll do new question, user information phone number. The other thing I found is that it doesn't suppress response a lot for whatever reason. If you want to try to grab their street address, you can do that as well. I don't know if API Nation bridges that, so maybe I'm opening a can of worms. I think you guys do, right?
Could you repeat that, Ryan?
Can I push the street address of the user in through your bridge?
No, so the street address is not something we're supporting today.
Okay, so first name, last name, phone number, and email for now, okay, guys? And I usually put the phone number down at the bottom. The privacy policy is always going to be your kvCORE website. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to type it in. /privacy.php. That's your privacy URL. And then my thank you screen, to answer your question, Cynthia, this is where we're going to hook up the link to our land. for sale, so that when people are done filling out the form, they can go to it. So I'll usually do in the headline, I'll get great, click to see the list now. Sometimes I'll do something like, also check your email. I sent you something else fun. That might be I sent you a case study or a first-time home buyers webinar. If you want to tease the reason why they want to go in their email, you can do that. We'll do view website. Button text is see the list now. And then the link is the link to properties on your site. And the way I usually get that in this scenario is I just go search the property list on my site. I usually have that ready before I run the ad, or I do it right now. So I would simply just go search for the land list. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that, and then I'll pop the URL in right here. So let's get that done. If I'm moving too fast, you guys can watch the replay. If you're watching the replay right now, just hit the little gear button down at the bottom right of the player. You can always slow me down to -2x, or if I'm boring, you can speed me up. All right, so save, finish. Jim's asking a great question. It always comes up with this. kvCORE will require them to log in after having just done it on Facebook. Yes, and Facebook used to have a way. We were one of the few people who had it. It was called continued flow. We used to be able to automatically log people in, but they took that away from all advertisers, and it was such a shame. So it's not just us. It's just Facebook. Yeah, it will make them log in again. What you can do is, and I'm forgetting, you can build a squeeze link with registration turned off from the lead engine page, so that when they're redirected that first time, they don't have to do it. The other thing you can do is in your lead form, you can take them to a thank you page that says, hey, go check your email. I sent you the list. And this gets a little more sophisticated, but you can have sort of a video where you say, hey, thanks for accessing my land list. My name's Ryan, blah, blah, blah. Nice to meet you. My cell number is below. Now go to your email and get the list. You know, you can do that kind of thing so that when they click the link inside their email, they are logged back in, and you can start tracking visits right there. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. I haven't heard too many grumbles, Jim. Usually the more common thing I get is I send an auto text, as we talked about in the past few webinars, and people will be like, oh, I didn't get the list. They kind of like forget to click through, or they get distracted. So it is a good idea to anyway just send them an email or a text with the link in it. Okay, so now we've got our Facebook ad built. I've given you kind of the keys to the castle here. If you think about it, it's coming up with interesting niche focused lists around the type of business you want to do. In this case, I don't like mortgages anymore. I'm just tired of underwriters. Ain't nobody got time for that. So just land for me, right? That's kind of an example, right? Personal preference, build your business around what you want to do. So this is land. You could do any sort of property list you want, put it out on Facebook, and if you follow that template I just gave you and you use one of those video slideshow ads and you don't deviate too far, you should get an okay response, okay? So that's, you know, a little bit of work, but that's how to do it on your own. Now that I've set this up, the next trick, of course, is going to be to get that information that is filled into that form from my ad and get it to push in to the kvCORE system. And that's where API Nation comes in. So I'm going to come back down now to the marketplace page. I'm going to go to Facebook lead ads. I'm going to click add to kvCORE. Oh boy, I really hope I remember my kvCORE username and password. It worked. I always log in from the super admin backend, and I never use my own password. It worked. All right.
All right.
Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click connect Facebook lead ads. Now, I've had problems, Tyler, in the past with this because I have, like, from an earlier life, I used to manage a lot of real estate business pages, and I have so many pages connected to my account. So it seems to, like, stall out on me sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's just see what it does here. Yeah. Give me a second, guys. I actually didn't anticipate this was going to happen today. 1 second. I didn't remember until just now.
Yeah, I can see that. You must have, dozens of pages.
A couple hundred. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
So it looks like it actually may have worked though, right? Let's see if it. And if not, I may need to stall and log into a different Facebook account here for a second.
Sure. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it gets hung up on retrieving those hundreds of pages.
Yep. I'm a corner case, guys. I'm going to log into this other demo account I have and see if it'll work for me real quick. I actually remember the last time I did this demo, that's what I did. But I forgot. Here we go.
No problem. That's an interesting case. I'll make sure I present that to the team.
Yeah. Okay. So that's should be okay. Now, if I do add to kvCORE, what happens? I can still use the same user pass, I hope. And then we'll try to authenticate using that other Facebook account. Because it checks to see if I'm logged into Facebook, correct? That's kind of how it does it? Okay.
Yeah. And we'll connect you if you're already logged in. Otherwise, we'll ask you to type in that username and password.
Okay. It always happens. You break things that you're demoing live, like right at the perfect moment.
Oh, sure.
He hates me today.
Interesting. Do you want me to see if I can pull up my screen and give it a run through? I know I just did it a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. I just wanted to show the part where you map everything together.
Yeah.
And actually, I was able to pick, it added it to the drop down for me here. You just tell me if you want the screen. Just bear with us, everybody.
Sure. Yeah. Pass the screen my way, and I'll run it from this side.
Cool. So I'll address some questions while Tyler gets going there. The API Nation for the Facebook lead ads is free. The Google Sheets and the other integrations are $5 a month, I believe. But the Facebook lead ads integration, definitely cool. You don't have to pay for another third-party provider. It's nice of API Nation to do that. And I think because they do that for us, we should just show some love and pick up the Google Sheets and MailChimp, any other ones.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, so you can see here we got into the settings of the Facebook Lead Ads kvCORE. So this was after we connected that kvCORE account and connected that Facebook account. And now we've just got a couple of options to select from here. So we've got these pages here in a drop down. This one, you'll want to select whichever page it was that you were using. I've got the API Nation sandbox right there. Looks like Ryan's got a couple of hundred of options to pick from in that page option. And once you're on that page that you made your ad for, you'll be able to see all the different ads that you're able to come up with as well. So this is, let's say I want to use this test lead ad form. As soon as I save this drop down, we'll see this mapping refreshes and we've got all this information coming through. If I wanted to say, hey, my phone number maps over to my phone number, I can go ahead and drag and drop just like that. And do you want me to just dive right into a couple of the cool things that we can do with those hashtags, Ryan?
Yeah, sure. So you can, show people how to add the hashtag, to the contact record, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do just want to be clear. This interface right here is exactly what you're looking at for what's going to come over from Facebook to kvCORE. You see these green check marks with the arrows. That means that email field from Facebook is going to become that user's email in kvCORE, et cetera, et cetera. And we've got a couple of really cool things that you can do here, specifically with that note field. So if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see that we can add a custom field here in API Nation. And I want to do that, and I want to say, hey, this is my hashtag. And I'm going to say this is Facebook leads. And so now that I've got this new field that I've created named hashtag, and it's got this value of what we want our hashtag to be, I can go ahead and I can click on the left on that hashtag, and I can click on the right here for that note. And now that we've added this hashtag as the note, when this contact gets created in kvCORE, it'll come over with that hashtag Facebook leads right there.
Perfect.
And that's super helpful, guys, for if you want to kick off those campaigns that are associated to hashtags, if you want to keep these guys just tagged as their own group in Facebook. Also, you can add multiple of these custom fields. So let's also go ahead and say, hey, you wanted to say that this is from Facebook. You could do that as well. Really as many of these custom fields as you wanted to create. And if you wanted to go ahead and map that source over to lead origin here, there you go. Now you can say this is coming through from Facebook.
So the answer a few questions, the hashtags don't show up on the Facebook ads. You're setting those kind of as the data comes in from API Nation in this dashboard here. And can you have multiple notes, guys, Tyler?
So far we only support one note per hashtag or per user, but what you can do in this field is you can go ahead and add more. You can type whatever you want here in this field, and you can also add multiple hashtags. So if you wanted to have hashtag 2 and whatever else you might want to include here.
Great. Perfect. And now once this is set up, this is the last step, right? You just kind of submit and go.
This is the last step. So once you've done this, it's important to scroll to the bottom and click save right here. And then you're all set to go. You could hit this big play button just to start things off. And now every single time, as soon as you get that lead coming through in Facebook, it'll get synced straight into your kvCORE with these settings, with these hashtags right here.
Perfect. Thank you for saving me there. I was dying.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I could see how a couple hundred pages would be a special edge case for us. So
yeah, that's why I never really worried much about it. Yep. So everybody, as you can see, basically the idea behind a tool like API Nation, and one of the benefits of having kvCORE is the extensibility. You can integrate with so many different things. You can either get leads coming in from Facebook lead ads, you can push leads out to Google Sheets and any number of other programs, and API Nation is one of those kind of helper tools that you kind of have in your toolbox. So any other questions, anybody? If I didn't get to an earlier question, feel free to remind me of that now. I won't mind if you post it again. I'm looking through. I think we did a pretty good job of getting most of it. Question about CASL, the Canadian spam laws. I'm not super familiar with them. Just be careful. If there are certain things you need to put into your ad creative, you can do that. If you feel more comfortable putting that stuff inside of the Facebook lead form, you can do that. Most of the examples I'm going to show are going to be local to where I am here in Florida, in the United States. So just proceed under your own rules and regulations wherever you are. I don't know if you can get in trouble or not. Yeah, so that's it. Did anybody have any other questions, feedback, thoughts about this? Are you going to try out that Google Sheets integration or any of the other API Nation ones? Would love to hear the feedback. Kelly's saying if you insert a new column in your Google spreadsheet and it now takes the place of one of the existing columns that pulls from kvCORE, will it affect future syncs? Tyler.
That's an interesting question, Kelly. I see it there, and the short answer is yes, but the long answer is actually a little bit more detailed. I'd be happy to reach out to you directly and help you set something up that works for you, and I'll explain to you exactly what to look out for when you want to make those kinds of changes.
Yeah, I think the Data Studio stuff, we have business analytics built into kvCORE. It's a really cool feature. You can see a lot of what's going on. But I think for some of the more power users who are really into the data, this is going to be very helpful because there's a lot more you can a lot more ways you can slice and dice using that Google Sheets. Jason, we'll get you the replay. He's asking you can catch up on the first part. The first part is Zoom. We walked through API Nation's Google Sheets integration, the push out. So it'll be at insiderealestate.com/strategy. You can watch it there. You can speed it up, slow it down to your heart's desire. I'll get that live. It's Wednesday. We'll get that live by about 7 or 8 p.m. tonight. So, yeah. Okay, everybody. Tyler, thanks again for being on today.
Thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate it.
And thanks everybody for being here and for answering the poll and asking so many great questions. We'll see you next week, Wednesday at the same time, and I'll get the replay live this evening. Have a good one, everybody.